Okay, perfect. Okay, so are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So, first of all, good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining this session. As we know, we are actually running out of time because last week we had some holidays due to rain, and that's what we cannot afford to give any further holidays. That's why I decided to take this class online. So let's quickly jump into what is this today's class is. It's all about the basic fundamental of the networking. Okay, so and the CCNA, the course which you are going to learn. So it is what is that CCNA came from. So what are the requirement for the CCNA? So these all points we will discuss. So this is actually the foundation. Okay, and networking. If you think that networking, it is nothing but internet. Okay, internet. The entire internet is the networking, because you are connecting various computers. Okay, if suppose you are connecting, you have a Gmail account, so you are connecting to from your machine to the Gmail. How you are reaching there? What are the parameters come into picture? So what is the MAC address? What is the IP address? What is the speed? Right? How the connectivity is going on. So this all things come under networking. So being a network engineer, let's say tomorrow you want to become a network engineer, so you need to start the beginning of the networking, start from the single computer. Okay, if you have two computers, you want to share the data, so networking come into picture. So then we will start, then we will further, we will build a LAN, then we will build a WAN. You can connect multiple offices to each other via the networking. And then on top of networking, there will be security will come into picture, then wireless will come into picture. So like this stuff will be there. So let's have a quick look on what is computer networking. As I told, like today it will be a fundamental of the networking, and we will try to understand this all bits and pieces of the network. And then so it will be very helpful in tomorrow's class. So tomorrow when we jump into the switching, so you will be understand, you will have a base of the how the networking is going on. Okay, so with that, so let me just take this pen. Okay, fine. So computer networking. So guys, welcome to the computer network world. What is computer network world? It is connecting two or more than two computers. For what? For sharing the data, for sharing the resources. So if you look at in this diagram, this is our LAN. Okay, this is one of the office where all these systems, they connected via wired, and the server, even this printer, they all connected via wired, and even this internet also connected. So anyone can share the data. This guy can take a print, this guy can go to the internet, this guy can save any file into the server. So in the what is this all? This all is the networking. And if you look at the today's networking world, so where you have mobiles, you have tablets, you have laptops, you have a PCs, you have a wireless router. So this all are the networking now. So we are actually surrounded by the networking stuff. If you are connected in the home Wi-Fi, so if you go anywhere, so the first thing you will ask, by Wi-Fi ka password kya hai? Right? So you want to connect to the world. So how the Wi-Fi is working? So when I say a Wi-Fi is nothing but a device. Okay, and internet ISP, they provided one cable, and you connected that cable to the Wi-Fi, and you did some configuration. So this Wi-Fi is actually sharing a SSID. This is called SSID. So let's say you are sitting here, so in your mobile, so when you switch on the Wi-Fi, so you will get the SSID from here. Then when you put the password, so it is called authentication. So this device want to know who are you. If it will get authenticated, and it will give you a IP address, and it also learn a MAC address of your mobile. Then if you look at this router, wireless router, so you will have two pieces there. It will know that what is the MAC address of the mobile which connected to me, and what is the IP address I have given to him. And once you get the IP address, then you are going to the internet. So this is a networking. This is a wireless networking. How the wireless came into picture? Wireless came after the wired. Okay, so that is again advanced technology. So that how the Wi-Fi connect into the world. Even in the organization, if you go to any company, so they will have a Wi-Fi there. That is called a corporate Wi-Fi. Because in today we are not like employees. Like today, the employees are not sitting at one place. They need to go to some another meeting room. They need to have some collab like meeting with another teams. So you need to pick the laptop, and you need to go move from here this floor to that floor. So when you move that, so you cannot take the cable with you. So the wireless technology came into picture, and you are able to survive that. So you need to know get to know about the wireless as well. So networking, it start from two computers to the thousands and lakhs of the computer, right? So the wider if you look at the types of the networking, so the networking divided into three types: LAN, MAN, and WAN. So LAN is nothing but a wide area network. Man and van. So like, okay, so what is the LAN? LAN is nothing but a within an office. Okay, if you have one building, so this is and you have various computers, various servers, printer, all this networking equipment, they connected, and printers, even internet connectivity. So these all come under the LAN. So LAN is will be within a building. Okay, where you can connect a cable, you can pull the cables, right? So then after that, there was a older technology called a MAN. So MAN was something like, let's say you have one office in Mehdipatnam, one office in Amirpet. So the MAN technology was like, you need to take a ISP MAN technology. So what they will do, they will install one tower here and one tower here. Okay, and via from the road, by a road, they will have some wired connectivity. So like this, a MAN technology was, but it was very costly solution. Okay, and that's what it gone. And WAN is completely replaced the MAN. And what is the WAN technology? So let's have a look on. Okay, so LAN. So LAN is nothing but our office, our PSF lab, computer lab. What is that? What is that? So it is nothing but a LAN. So where you have various computers, you have a server, you have a printer, you have an internet. Everything is connected via switch. So there will be a switch, and that is called like it will have various ports, and you will connect all endpoints. In the networking world, these all devices, whether it is a PC, whether it is a laptop, whether it is a printer, whether it is a scanner, everything they called as a endpoints. Okay, they called as a endpoints, because these endpoints, they need a access, right? This machine required a printer, then this endpoint required a access. Okay, so this is a LAN. So LAN you will see everywhere, any within a building, a small office, a bigger office, you can say within a building a LAN will get built. Okay, then MAN is, as I told, like we used to take the ISP connectivity, and it was very costly solution. So it got replaced with the WAN. What is the WAN? WAN is nothing but a wide area network. Okay, what is wide area network? Wide area network is, I can say, a LAN plus LAN is equal to WAN. LAN plus LAN is equal to WAN. I'm unable to type here. Okay, so LAN plus LAN is equal to WAN. How? So let's say if you have one office in let's say Hyderabad. Okay, one office in Bangalore, one office in Dubai, and one office in let's say UK. Okay, so all these offices you want to connect it. And connectivity means what? Connectivity means these all are the same company. They are the same organization. Okay, whether if this guy, if he's sitting here, he want to talk to this guy. This server who is sitting here, this server want to talk to this server. This guy sitting in this office UK, he want to share some data, he want to save some data into this server. So how this is going to happen? It all happen with the WAN. So WAN technology, there is in the behind, when you look at this cloud, so this cloud is nothing but this is called ISP. Okay, in the networking world, the ISP play a very big role. ISP means what? Internet service provider. So what is internet service provider? Is internet service provider, they uh, they give you service. Like for example, you have an internet. Guys, someone please go on mute if you're not talking. 1 second, let me make it. Okay, yes, thank you. So let's say, because if I get disturbed, maybe I may forget what I was saying. So what I was saying, yeah. So um, in the van of ISP, I was talking about the ISP. So internet service provider. So in ISP is a very bigger terminology. So in the ISPs there are international level ISPs. They called as a very bigger ISPs. Okay. Then after that, a regional ISPs will be there, and then after that, local ISPs will be there. So when you get a Wi-Fi at your home, that is not, you will not you're not taking a home Wi-Fi from the Tata, right? You will get it from something like a beam, or some local vendor. So they called as a local ISP. Actually they take a service from a regional ISPs, and after that international ISPs, right? Like Airtel. Airtel is nothing but international ISP. So in, let's say, if you're in Dubai. So in Dubai there are two ISPs, Etisalat and Du. So these national level ISPs, they have a connectivity. Let's say in India you have Airtel, and in Dubai you have Etisalat. Okay. So these two ISPs, they already have a connectivity from the ground, from the sea. They already have a wired connectivity to connect a countries. Okay. And what they will do, if suppose in Hyderabad, Medipatnam, you have office. So Airtel, you will ask Airtel, please give us, we want to connect a Dubai office. So they said yes, you're fine. So in Dubai you will say, Etisalat, we want to connect connectivity. So what they will do, they will give you one cable till your doorstep, and in Dubai office they will give a cable to your doorstep, and that cable we will connect to the routers. Okay. That cable will connect to the routers, and then this you will be, it will be virtually, it will be like you connected directly to the one cable. The same thing will happen in the UK. You may take a service from layer 3, level 3 or layer 3, some ISPs there. In Bangalore, maybe you taken a service from the Tata. If suppose it is a US, you may be taken a service from the Verizon, right? So these all international ISPs, they connected to each other. So when you take a service, then this guy, he can connect to any server. So this is called a WAN. So what is WAN? WAN is nothing but you are connecting a networks. You are connecting this user, he want to access this server. What does it mean? It means it is a networking. It is a networking, but in the wide area. Okay. And how it happened? Everything happened via cable. In the background there will be a cables here. Okay. The ISP is like a mesh. They have cables throughout the world. They connected the world via the cables. Okay.
So
And
what is the abbreviation of ISP?
Internet service provider.
Right, thank you, sir.
Okay. So this ISP, they play a big role. So we connect the networking types. There are two types, LAN and the WAN. So the best example of the ISP is WAN is internet. Internet is the WAN example. Why? Because I'm sharing my images into the Google Drive. It means I'm connecting via my service provider to the regional service provider, then international service provider. They have all this connectivity. Like this, you connected. So wide area network is this, all come under the networking. Okay. So what are the pieces come into networking? That we'll discuss into that. Okay. So now let's talk about the LAN. LAN, there are two types of LAN. Okay, one is a peer-to-peer and second is a client server. Okay, so let's have a look on the peer-to-peer. So peer-to-peer LAN is nothing but same like our PSF lab. Okay, so what we have is you can go and visit into the lab, and you can see that there is something called a hub or switch. Okay, this is called a central access device. Central access device, CAD. So what it does is it will have a various ports. So you will connect all this machine to that switch, and you will give something called IP address. We'll see in the next slide what is the IP address. So this IP addresses, what will happen then this machine, he can connect to this machine. They all can share the data. Okay, if the same place, if you have internet, if you want internet to all this machine, you can connect the ISP cable into this one of the port. Then what will happen? All this machine can go to the internet. Okay, so but the problem with the peer-to-peer is there is no control. Let's say, for example, you also have a printer here. Okay, so if this a user, he is taking daily 100 prints, but this user, he never take a print. This user C, he is always going to the full day, he is just connecting to the internet, and he's working on the social media. He's enjoying on the Facebook, enjoying on the Twitter, and these all things he's doing. This guy, let's say this guy, he's he's unable to share, he is able to view all the files in the server. Okay, so there is no control, right? Why? Because everyone is server here, everyone is client here. That is called a peer-to-peer network. So every machine has the same rights. So I can say office without a boss, right? Without a boss means, let's say everyone is, then everyone will feel like a boss. Everyone will try to assign some work to everyone, and they can have a rights to reject that. No, why should I do that work? You're not my boss, because everyone is boss here. So in that or such scenario, the entire organization will get collapsed, because if you need a control, then you need a someone on top of you. So these all guys will be under control, because this guy will be under control with someone. So this is how the organization works, right? So in the peer-to-peer, this is same scenario. Every machine can do anything. You cannot control that. So with that, to solve that problem, client and server networking. So client and server, because see, why we are teaching you a server here. Maybe your server administration course will get start soon. So you will come to know about the Linux server. You'll come to know about the Windows server. Okay. So servers is they're playing very important role in the networking. How? Because server can control everything, right? They will feel like a boss, right? Active Directory. So what you can do? Okay. In one more problem. In the peer-to-peer, if you have a local user, let's say a user A you created here. Let's say this is user B, this is user C, and this is user D. So a user A, he cannot, let's say his system is not working today, and user B not came to office. So can he go and access computer B, user B system? No. Why? Because that username is created on the local machine. Here, if he want to log in here, then he want to use a C username, and C password he don't know, right? So this cannot be controlled here. That's why Active Directory server administration came into picture. So what is server administration is? These servers, they control everything. They will all the users will get created here on the server. Okay, and even this server also connected into your LAN. You can see here everything is connected on the LAN only. But now this will be your boss. He will control everything. Okay, so what it will do, it will create a users. Let's say user A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, so what will happen? any user can sit on any system, right? This user, he can go and today he can sit here, user A, tomorrow this user A can sit here, right? So that control, because the authentication will happen from here on the server. So this is the like a free anyone can sit anywhere. So that problem solved. Another problem, a user access. So I want to control that. Let's say you also have an internet here. So I want to give access only these laptops, these laptops are nothing but managers. Okay, so they only need internet access. I want to restrict all my user A, B, C to access the internet. How can I control that? Yes, server can control that. In the server, when they create a user, there will be something called a user profile. They will deny an internet there. When what will happen then? This guy try to access the internet, the access will get denied. He cannot access that internet. Similarly, you can assign this is called a user profile. You will learn the user profile. Like you can control everything on the user. When the shift timing of the user. Let's say I want to utilize this machine fully utilized for 24 hours. So how can I do that? Like let's say we have a 8-hour shift for 3 members will come here. 8 hours shift will be there. So what you can do is you can create a 3 users, okay, and you can give a time slot. Okay, morning 10 to 6, user A can log in into that. After that, automatically his user it will get sign out. Then after that, a user B timing. So this everything let's say this user D, he want to, who can access this file server? Okay, let's say in the file server you have some important data, like HR is having some like salary related information, some company policy related information. So in the client server you can control that file. Who can access that file? Who can access that folder? Who can access this particular stuff? So these all controls can be happen from the server. That's why a server and client, this is very famous one. And in organization, if you go to any organization, you will find this type of network. Tomorrow, you're going to get a job. In that job, you will see a client server network only. You will not see something like this. Okay, you will see this type of network in very small offices, labs, or any colleges, right? But in corporate, you will find a client servers where everything will control by the server. When you join tomorrow, when you join any organization, the first day, what they will do? The first day, they will create your user account. That is called a corp ID. That is called a corp ID. So they will create a user, let's say Shahid Ansari. So shahid.ansari@xyz.com. So a company domain email address will be given to you. A company corporate account will be given to you, and you need to create a password. Then what will happen? Then you will become a corporate employee. And tomorrow, if you go there, you can log into any system with your corporate account. You cannot, no one will give you a local account. See, remember, there are 2 types of account. The local account will be created on the machine, our laptop, our PCs. In our offices, we will, in our local offices, you can create a local user. But these are called a domain user. Domain user means what will happen? This server will actually, you will make a domain. Let's say the company name is something called XYZ is a company. So you will create a domain called xyz.com. Okay. So all the corporate email address will be after @xyz.com. Right. Like if you're working in the Facebook, facebook.com, twitter.com, linkedin.com. So similarly, gmail.com is nothing but a domain, right? So username, then after that, the domain. So everything is controlled from the Active Directory and the domain controller. Then there will be a timing, right? So like every system need to sync with the time, right? So NTP server. Similarly, file server, you want, every user want to save some stuff. Let's say you have some designing organization. Okay, So what will happen? Every user will come here, an employee will come here, and he will design something. This guy will come here and he will design something. This guy will come here, design something. But where they will save it? Will it save it on the local machine? No, you can save it on your corporate machine. Like, you can save it on the server. So you can have a common file. This all people can access. Let's say this guy working in the morning, he will do some development, he will go. Afternoon, this guy will come, he will open the same file and he will do some more modification to that. So this all control can be happen on the file server. So guys, that is what you need to learn. There is a separate job for this. This is called a system administrator or server administrator. So what this role is, this guy, you are responsible to handle this server. You're responsible to handle this all user activity stuff, right? There is one role called IT support engineer. Okay, what is IT support engineer? See, let's take an example. You have some 500 laptops and computers in company, in organization. 500 laptops and computers. So 500 users are working there. You will have 15 to 20 printers. You will have scanners, right? You will have many stuff. And with every user, you will have some corporate software. Like this user may have Outlook. He may have a Teams to communicate to each other. They may have some corporate URLs, some internet applications. So what, these 500 users, okay, they may have any problem. Okay, nowadays, you will have every desk will have a phone as well, right? Because the networking technology, they build a VoIP. VoIP means what? Voice over IP. You can talk to each other. Let's say within a LAN, you can connect IP phones, and this guy can talk to this guy via the phone, via the wired, right? You no need any PSTN connection and all if you're talking within an office. So this can be happen with the voice technology. As I told, wireless is the need, VoIP is the need. Similarly, this is called a data. So what we understand, via the cable, multiple things are happening. That there is a cable called as a data. A data means a user is saving some file to the server, means a data is going into that. A user, he is calling from his VoIP phone to the another VoIP. Guys, I'm saying VoIP, not wife. Okay, VoIP, VoIP. Okay, voice over IP. So why he's talking on the VoIP phone? So the voice is going via that cable, right? Similarly, a wireless, like you will have a wireless connectivity. You can connect to the wireless, right? So these are the multiple technologies: wireless, VoIP, data, server. So these all have a separate job profiles, right? So let's say for this 500 user, every day this user, maybe he is unable to access the Outlook. Some application issue is happening. This user, his mouse is not working. This user, his keyboard is not working. This user has a blank screen. This user unable to access the internet. This user, he is getting some yellow mark on his thing. This user, he is unable to take the printer. So who will help them? This is called all the user problems, like the technical problems. Who will take care of that? So there is a job called IT technical support, or support administrator, or a help desk administrator. So these all profiles, that role will be to solve a user problems. You need to solve all these problems. And you know what? This is not only a virtual, like let's say this is one office only, and just think about the multinational company. So they may have a WAN connectivity, they may have various offices, right? They all connected. So if you're working in the shift, so if any problem comes, so you can remotely, you can solve this problem. UK user, you can remotely, you can solve an application problem of this US user. So this is how MNCs work. And this is how the job profile work. As I told, a server administrator, he will take care of the server, system administrator, server administrator. And similarly, like we have a Windows server, right? Similarly, there will be Linux servers. So Linux administrator, he will take care of the Linux stuff. Windows administrator, he will take care of the Windows stuff. IT support engineer, he will take care of all these user related problems. End user, this is called end, like this machine called end machine, right? Similarly, they will call the end users. So end users problem can be a hardware problem, can be a application problem, can be a new laptop is coming, you need to assemble that. A new system is coming, you need to assemble that, and changing the RAM and all this stuff. So this all profile, like what you are learning, so this all come into that role, that is called IT support role. Okay. And in every organization, there will be huge opening for that. So if you want to enter into any IT industry, so this will be a quicker way to enter into the IT industry. And you can get the job, aware with the organization, get experience, and you can move to the another technologies. So that is what our student is doing. So this is what our approach is. We need to target a job which will have more openings, right? System engineers, IT support engineers, desktop engineers, right? Similarly, there will be one more job, to this cabling. Let's say these cables are connected from systems to the switches. Then there will be, you will have a branch, various floors, right? All this floor will connected via cables only. So all this cabling activity and the data center activity, that will be taken care by that is called some designation. So that is more into the cabling work. Okay, there is a separate profile, separate role for that. 4 roles I have told you: the cabling role, IT support role, system engineer role in the server, and the Linux administrator, right? They take care of this. So what then? There is another role called network engineer. What the network engineer does is,
Sir, can you repeat?
Okay. So system engineer, they take care of the servers. IT support engineers, they take care of the user related problems. Hardware problems. Then L1 engineer. L1 engineer, they take care of all the physical activity of the IT stuff, cabling, moving things from here to there. They take care of all these things. So they are also called as a field engineer. Field engineer means they need to go and physically do that. Okay, 3 things. Then in the system, again, there are Linux administrator different, and system server, Windows server administrator different. And after that, there is another role called as a network engineer. What the network engineer does is they come under the same umbrella. So this your LAN, you will have various hundreds of switches here. You will have hundreds of routers to connect your one office to another offices, LAN and WAN. So and you will have a security firewalls will be there, and you need to coordinate with the ISP. You need to if suppose, okay, let's, for example, let me give another example. Okay, so let's say you have multiple offices, okay, and all these offices connected via ISPs. Okay, so who will, if suppose this ISP's connectivity went down, who is responsible? Who will coordinate with the ISP? Network engineer. A LAN, let's say you need to do a LAN extension. You were in one floor, you took another floor as well. So some more 100 systems came there. So who will do this LAN extension from the switching side? Who will do the configuration on the switches? Who will do the routing configuration on the router? Who will take care of that firewall stuff? So they all called as a network engineer. They take care of the routers, switches, firewalls, ISP stuffs. They take care of all these inventories. Network engineer, got it? There is another profile called as a security engineer. What the security engineer does is, see, the security is very important part of any organization, right? Security can be like this. Every system will have some antiviruses. Every system needs some need to identify some vulnerabilities. You need to protect your organization from the internet threats. You need to control who will access what. Let's say, as I told, you want to block all the social networking sites, websites from your network. Can it done by server? No, server cannot do that level. Even you can just access it, deny, or this one, but you cannot deny, block the web filtering. So for that, there is a web filtering device will be required there. So how can you protect the viruses coming from the internet? How can you protect your systems? How can you protect how can you identify your vulnerabilities? So these all terms, all these devices like IPS, IDS, firewalls, then antivirus, vulnerability, this all take care by the security engineer. So guys, they all are from the same umbrella of the networking. Networking is the umbrella, and it has various branches. So today, if suppose you are getting a job into IT support, you are into the networking. If you become a server administrator, you are into the networking. So you need to explore that. So in this course, we are going to give we will explore all these bits and pieces. So you will get a job in any of them. You can if you get a lucky, then you can. I cannot see anyone that who is working on everything. He is a router switches guy. He is a firewall guy, like a security guy. He is a cabling guy. He is a IT support guy. He is a server guy. No, that's not possible. That can be a 5 different roles, right? So with that, client server. Okay, so now let's come back to the network topology. Now we understand peer-to-peer and the server client. Okay, now tomorrow if someone asks you, so don't if you join somewhere, so don't ask someone that do we maintain a server. So please don't ask them. So they will fire you on that day only. So because they maintain a server, every corporate organization, they maintain a servers. Okay, so now network topology. Network topology means what? A physical arrangement of the computers. Okay, like previously there was a bus, a ring, mesh, tree topology, point-to-point topology. So point-to-point topology, you have in every system you will have a Nic card. Nic card means a place where you will connect a LAN cable. That is called a Nic card. Okay, so if this system is connected like this, they can connect to each other. But if suppose you've got another system, how you're going to connect that system? So you need to purchase another Nic card for that particular system. So that's not possible. Ring topology, there was a problem. Like it was like a ring. If this cable break, entire network will go down. Similarly, bus topology, if this cable break, the network will go down. But the most famous topology is star topology. Why? Because we are using a central access device. If this cable break, only this system will isolate it. Rest everything will work. That is called a star topology. So this is a star topology which we are using in our networking. The world is using the star topology. Okay, what is the star topology? So it's the same thing. Like as you're seeing, all the machines, they connected to a switches. Okay, previously there was something called a hub. So hub is now it become a legacy. Now you will see a switches. Switches means what? They does a switching. Okay, switches does a switching. Switching means what? Like the first thing, switch provide a connectivity to all these. It will have ports. Switch you can buy 8 port switch, 16 port switch, 32 ports. Sorry, 16. Yeah, 32 port, 24 port, 8 port, 16 port, 24 port, and 48 port. So you can buy a 48 port switch from the market. You will not see 100 port switch. Okay, so you will see a 48 port means in that switch it will have a 48 LAN port, 48 Nic card. So you can connect 48 system to that switch. Okay, so about switch we will talk tomorrow in our offline class. So we will talk more. We will understand the switch, and we will try to learn the switching technology. Okay, how the switch work and all. But for now, the switch they also call it central access device. because they are providing a central connectivity. The only disadvantage is if this switch goes down, what will happen? So obviously the entire network will go down. Okay, so that is only, but in the if this cable breakdown, only this system will isolated, rest everything will work, right? So in the star topology only, our all servers will get connected, our internet will get connected, so many things, all the LAN stuff, it build a LAN. Actually star topology build a LAN. So now LAN requirement, if you want, if I ask you to build a LAN, okay, if you done with the computer hardware networking, then you will be able to build a LAN. Why? Because to build a LAN, like let's say a office setup, okay, let's say you have some 15 systems, okay, 15 computers, and you want to build a LAN. Okay, so to build a LAN, what is the primary things you needed? You need a computer with a Nic card, you need a power, obviously you need a RJ45 connector, you will need a copper cable. See guys, cabling is again very big field. Okay, there is a separate job for the cablings. Cables, there will be two types of cable: copper cable, fiber cable. I have that in the next slide. So cabling, and then you need a central access device. You need a central access device. Why the cable? This all system will get connected here. Okay, once they connected, can they talk to each other? No, they cannot talk to each other until and unless you provide them IP address. So now we came to know about very important terminology of the networking called a IP address. What is IP address? This is a logical name. The systems, they connect to each other by the logical names. Let's say, for example, in this meeting, if we don't have a name to each other, then how we can talk to each other? So right now I can see we have a Mustafa, we have a Imtiaz. So I can I can ask them, I can call them by name. So the same thing will happen in this networking. All the system will have IP addresses, and they will share a data with the IP addresses. So what is the use of IP address? How it look like? We will see in the next coming slides. Okay. So guys, any questions? I'm talking since last 45 minutes, so nothing came from your end. So
Can you hear again, sir?
yeah.
Yeah, like as you said, like the previous technologies, like bus technologies, like the single way of communication, does still exist all this bus technology?
No,
No, right?
no.
Like they were previous, right?
Obviously, see,
Um,
if you have a star topology, then who will choose the bus topology? Because if the drawback is if the cable break, why you want to depend on the one cable?
if someone cannot afford switch,
उतने भी गरीब नहीं है भाई कोई. Okay.
Nadeem sir,
Yeah.
difference between star topology and switch?
Star topology, switch used to build a star topology, right? It required a central access point, so all cable will get terminated on the switch. Any more questions?
so based on the number of LAN ports, the switch will become more costly, right?
Right. Tomorrow we will talk on the the cost and all. आपको cost की बहुत ज़्यादा फिक्र ऐसा दिख रहा है मुझको. Companies will take care of that. Okay, fine. So any more questions? Okay, so let's move on.
Like sir, one more question I have. Like, sir, suppose like in star topology, if I am using personal computer which is connected to the server already, but I have created a file which I have given an like password to that folder by me. So can the user can access that folder?
No,
No, right?
no, because on your local machine, when you create a folder, so you put a security there, right? You
I'll be
put
the owner
some,
of it.
yeah. So local user cannot access that. Okay, so let's move on. Let me share my screen back. Yeah. Okay, please go on mute. Okay. So next thing. So now we will talk about the OSI layer. Okay. OSI layer, it is like a framework. Okay, it is a soul of the networking. Yeah.
Akif sir is here.
So
He reached out.
Rajan,
Yes, sir.
we have another session now.
But there was no session for the Akib sir, right? Today?
Yes, no.
Actually, yes, his session was uh, Monday, Thursday, and Friday.
Okay. In that case, yeah, I need some more 20 minutes. Maybe he can take after. Okay, so ask him to connect, continue from the 12 o'clock. Okay.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. So okay. So let's continue. OSI layer. So what is OSI layer? It is a framework. So it is a ISO standard for computer networking design and functionality. Okay, there are 7 layers, and they all work from top to bottom. Okay, and like at the reception and header elements will be there. So OSI layer, open system interconnection. So why the OSI came into picture? Why we use the OSI? Why? Because see, in the networking, you are connecting one system from Hyderabad to one system in the USA. Let's say this system is a Dell system and this system is HP. Okay, both are two different vendors, two different hardwares. So two different hardwares, how they can connect to each other? So there should be some common parameters they need to follow, right? So that common formula is nothing but the OSI. Okay, OSI, the every vendor who build networking equipment, they follow OSI. Okay, OSI standard. So everything will be as per that standard. So there are total 7 layers of the OSI model. Okay, so and entire networking is run on into that. If you want to become a perfect network engineer, then you need to go deeper into the OSI layer. Why? Because everything will be rely here only. Everything will be here only. Okay, so how the everything will here? Let's say, for example, this machine. Let's say there is a machine here. It want to connect to this machine. Okay, and let's say there is a cable. They connected to the cable. So the OSI layer, how the OSI layer will come into picture? So now you can see here. See, let's say they connected to the cable. So the first thing first is media, the physical layer. The first layer is a physical layer. It take care of all the cablings. It makes sure that you should have a connectivity, you should have a proper cable connected, you should have proper crimping is there, proper RJ45 connector is there, light should be green. So it take care of it identify that OSI your physical connectivity is perfect. Then data link layer. Data link layer, it identify the MAC addresses. Every system will have 2 addresses, as I told. Very important, guys. Please, if you're not noting down, so tomorrow I'm going to ask these questions. Okay, so there are 2 types of addresses are very important. One is a MAC address, second is an IP address. MAC address is something physical address. It will be default with every system. Every laptop, every Nic card will have a default MAC address. You cannot change that MAC address. And the second thing is the IP address. IP address is logical address. You can change. You will assign that. Okay. So MAC address is a physical. So the data link layer, it identify the MAC address. Okay, this let's say this is a MAC address B, this is a MAC address A. So it identify that. And you know what? Our switches are working on the layer 2. This is called a layer 2. And as I told, L1 means what? Layer 1. Layer 1 is nothing but the physical. If someone is working on the L1 technology, means they are working on the cables. If someone is working on that L2 technology, means they are working on the switches. They are working on the equipments who deal with the MAC addresses. Okay, then after that, what will happen? There should be a logical address. Okay, so the another, let's say there will be a logical number. So let's say this guy is having 192.168.10.0. 10.1, this guy is having 192.168.10.2. So what is this 192.168? So that is called the IP address that we will talk. Okay, like tomorrow we will discuss on that. So the network layer take care of the IP addresses. It will see that both machines should have IP address and both should understand. Both machines should have MAC addresses. So they take care of that. After that, the transport layer. Transport layer is nothing but a transportation, like when you connect to one machine, so there will be a TCP session. There are two types of protocol, TCP and the UDP. Okay, transmission control protocol and UDP, user datagram protocol. So UDP is, it comes under the wireless. The TCP session, it will come as a wired. So when you connect to each other, so there will be a TCP connectivity. And when you, let's say you're accessing some browser, okay, you're accessing some internet browser. So your TCP session is going on some particular port. So port is nothing but like port 80 is a web browsing. Port 443 is a SSL connection. Similarly, DNS port 53. So every service has some port. Okay, so port will be something between 0 to 6555. Some range is there, so this port will be there. So the TCP, it will make sure that the port is open there. Then you know what, here on the layer 3, on the network, router will work on the layer 3. Switches
So
will work on
UDP
the
stands for
user datagram protocol. Okay, and transport layer, a firewall will work on the transport layer, some port based firewall. So they will work on this one. So you know what, these 4 layers are, we can call as a network layer. All these 4, we are responsible for this this all. And after that, the session layer, presentation and application, this all called as the application layer. Like people who are working on Java, they're working on some tools and application, they are responsible for that. But we as a network guys, we are responsible for this, because all the firewalls, all the routers, all the switches, all the cabling, everything will be here. Okay, let's say, see, very good example I will tell you. Okay, so physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. So how this works? So this example, this picture will explain you very clearly. Okay, so let's say I'm here on my laptop, I'm accessing a Google. So when I open a browser, immediately you will see that Google page. But how this is working, how you are able to access the browser, that Google page is nothing but somewhere in the USA, some machine is there, some web page is there. How you are accessing that? Can you imagine that? How you are accessing that? So, you know, all these 7 layers are functioning behind that, behind the scene. So how it works? The first thing is, let's say I'm sitting in the in office. The first thing, let's say my cable is not plugged to the switch. Can I reach to the Google? No, I cannot. Why? Because the layer 1 connectivity is important. So you can see all our cables will come into the physical layer. Okay, this is called a fiber layer, fiber cable and the copper cable. Then your machine should be connected to the switch. So switch should be learn a MAC address. Then you should have a router. The routing should be enabled there. Then a TCP port should be open. A firewall should open the TCP session. Okay. Then after that, a session will get formed, and a presentation layer, it will give you a proper format, and finally you will reach to that application. A DNS, HTTP, this all protocol will come here. So this is, everything is working behind the scene. So OSI layer, it is a backbone of the networking. Okay, so you need to learn about this. This is just a high level stuff which I am giving. Every layer has the important thing, but what you need to understand, the keys are, physical layer means all the cable will come there, switch will come into layer 2, router will come into layer 3, there are some firewall which come here, and finally the application. Okay, the Google is like this application is open there, right? So then after that OSI layer, the TCP IP model came into picture. See, OSI is nothing but a framework. On that frame, after that framework, a TCP IP model came into picture. So in the TCP IP, there are 4 layers only. It actually a short, they make from 7 to 4 layers, they short the layers. So what they did actually, they merged like what's called application, like a top 3 layer, they merge into 1 layer. That become application layer. Transport layer is as it is, internet layer, and the network layer. Right? Application like your session layer, presentation layer, application layer, or these 3 club into the application layer. So it's just another format, a short form of I can say OSI is a TCP IP. Okay, so again you can see here. So see the link layer. At the network layer, you will come to know about the IP address. You will come to know about the ICMP. You will come to know about the ARP and all. Then TCP or UDP, 2 sessions will be there. And finally, you will reach to the application. See, you can see all these top three layer, they binded into, they called as a application layer, transport layer, network layer. So this is a TCP IP. Our networking is working on the TCP IP stuff. Okay. So you can see a transmission layer, then the MAC address, then IP address, then remote host established, and finally a data is getting shared between them. Right? So this is a networking, fundamental of the networking, where you connect to each other. Right? So Nic Card is nothing but now we are talking about the physical layer. Physical layer means all the cabling will come into picture. So can you see here? You will have a Nic Card where this LAN cable is connected. You can see in your system. So that is a Nic Card. So in the cable, there are 2 types of cable: copper cable, fiber cable. Copper cable is something which we use in our day-to-day life. Like all our LAN will get connected there. There is another cable called fiber cable. So fiber cable, okay, see the copper cable is called as a crimping we need to do. So you guys will do this lab. So that in the networking, so that is called a crimping. So these all 8 small wires will get combined, and you need to crimp it, and finally it will become the cable like this. So that is called a crimping, and then cable will get ready into that. So there is a separate job for that. Okay, to crimp this and everything, make sure. But nowadays no one is doing this, because you can buy a cable directly which is already crimped. If it is not crimped, then you need to crimp it. Okay, why to crimp it, how it do, you can do that you will Mubin sir will take care of that. Okay, so the crimping is there. Then fiber cable, see, copper cable has some limitation. There are 2 types of cable: copper cable, fiber cable. Copper cable, you can take the copper cable till 100 meters only. 100 meters will be within a building. But if suppose you have 2 offices, one office in, let's say, Mahidipatnam, at PSF office, another office, let's say, at the Azizia Masjid. Okay, so you cannot pull the copper cable till there, because copper cable cannot support more than 100 meters. So in that situation, you need to use a fiber cable. Fiber cable is used to support a longer distance connectivity. Okay, like you can connect one branch to one building to another building via fiber cable. So these 2 types of cable are used in networking: copper cable, fiber cable. Okay, so remember this difference, and you will get to know more about the cables in this one in coming days. But this fiber cable, it will be look like this. Can you see this? And the data will go in the form of the light in the fiber cable. Okay, this is the copper cable. Okay, and the copper cable, it has categories: cat 1, cat 2, cat 3. Nowadays a cat 6 is running into the market. Cat 6, a category 6, which give you a 1 gig speed. 1 gig means, see, in the speed there will be MB, 100 MB is equal to 1 gig. Okay, 1 GB. Okay, 100, okay. So what will happen is, like 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. Okay, then after that, byte is a smaller one. Okay, after that, a KB. KB is nothing but 1024 bytes is equal to 1 KB. Then after the KB, there will be MB, megabytes. So 1024 KB is equal to 1 MB. Similarly, 1024 MB is equal to 1 GB, and 1024 GB is equal to 1 TB. So this is called a level, a speed. It starts from the bits, bytes, KB, GB, TB, and so on. So like this is called a speed level. Okay, so that maybe we can discuss more on that. There types of communication, we can forget about it. Switches. Okay, so let's talk switches in 5 minutes. So switches actually I'm going to take tomorrow in the detail, but remember one point, there are two types of switches. So now see, we talk about, see, the entire networking is run on the OSI layer, right? So we talk about the layer 1, physical layer. The cabling will come into picture there. Copper layer, copper cable, and fiber cable. All these information, all these things related to the physical layer. Now we are going to the second layer, that is called a layer to data link layer, where switches come into picture. Switches, they connect to each other. They used to build the LAN, right? So there are two types of switches: unmanageable switch, manageable switch. So what is the difference? We'll see tomorrow. Okay, and let's continue this talk about the switching tomorrow, because what is meant by, if you connect one system here, one system here, so this they will connect to two different port. So this frame will get forwarded from one port to another port. This is called a switching. The another thing is, this switch is an intelligent device. Why? Because it maintains a CAM table, content addressable memory. CAM table is nothing but a brain. So it will understand, to my port 1, a MAC address 1 is connected, let's say. To my port 2, MAC address 2 is connected. So it has that brain, that intelligence. That is why it is so that you can understand, you can block that port, you can allow this port, you can dedicate this port to particular MAC. So these all control can be happen with the on the managed switches only. So this is called like the switches are working on the layer 2. All the MAC address will get learn into the layer 2. So this is how the MAC address work. And switching world is a very bigger. Switches has a switching technology called VLAN, trunk, VTP, STP. These all things you will come to learn. And you know, as a network engineer, you need to manage this switch. You need to understand the switching technology. You need to run these switches. How to run these switches? We'll see it tomorrow. Okay, now the MAC address. What is the MAC address? Just a quick thing. MAC address is nothing but a physical address. That is called a media access control. Okay, media access control is nothing but, so it is a 48-bit media address which cannot be changed. It will be with your system. If you go to your machine, if you go to your laptop and just open a CMD and run a command ipconfig. So you will get your MAC address. So in the MAC address, the first 12 bits will be organization bit, and next is a unique bit. Okay, next 24 bit will be organization. Like Dell will have a reserve. This all Dell laptop will have first this thing is reserved, and then a unique value will be there. So this is how the MAC address look like. Can you look at here? The physical address look like this. This is into the decimal format. Okay, so you can see the switch. Yeah, this is a if you look at the switch CAM table, so you will see on my port 1 this MAC address is connected. On my port 2 this MAC address is connected. On port 3 this MAC address. And can you look at here, these MAC addresses, these digits are common, but these digits are different. So that is called a MAC address. This is called a physical address. Switch understand the MAC addresses only. It cannot understand the IP address. IP address understand by a router, which is nothing but the layer 3. What is IP address? Just a high level IP address is a logical IP address, which is 32-bit. So there are two versions of the IPv4. IPv4 is nothing but it is 32-bit, and IPv6 is the 128 bits. Okay, so 32 bit is something like this. This is the example of IP address 192.168.100. So 8 bytes per octet. See, this is 1 octet, 2nd octet, 3rd octet, 4th octet. So bytes and bits. So actually this will be in the binary number, but if you look into the decimal, you will see something like this number. So this number is called IP address. What is the IP address? We'll talk that in the next class. And private IP, public IP, again, I need some more time to explain this. We can see that later. So one important thing to understand in the networking, there are two things: host and the network. What is meant by host? This machine is a host. This machine is a host. This machine is a host. And what is network? A collection of host is called a network. Right? So collection of host is nothing but a network. So IP addresses details tomorrow we'll see. And with the last thing we will see IP address versus MAC address. See, if you want to, in the networking, if two machines want to communicate to each other, they need to know their MAC addresses and the IP addresses. MAC address is the physical address, IP address is the logical address. MAC address cannot be reassigned, IP address can be reassigned. Who assign the MAC address? Vendor will make a MAC address. But who assign IP address? Administrator will assign IP address. So, you know, if these people, this machine want to connect to this one, both should know IP address and the MAC address. And you know, there are two protocols are used into that. If a machine know the IP address and he want to know the MAC address, they use a ARP protocol. ARP means address resolution protocol. It will ask for the MAC address. Hello, I know this IP address. Who is the MAC address? Then when the packet received, this guy will say, oh, I'm the MAC address. I think you want to communicate to me. So this guy will reply. The reverse ARP is something, if machine know the MAC address and he's looking for the IP address, so they will do a reverse ARP to get the IP address. So the moral of the story is you both should know the MAC address and the IP address of each other. Then only the communication will happen. Okay, so this is how very important. And in the networking, these are very important tools: ping, traceroute, and the NS lookup. Okay, ping is something that if you go to CMD and try to ping google.com, www.google.com, so you will see a reply is coming from the Google. What does it mean? So the connectivity is perfect there. If you can test it, you can remove the Wi-Fi, disconnect from the Wi-Fi and try to ping again. You will see a request timeout. Means your connectivity is not good. So ping, it used for the testing. Is the machine is alive or not? Okay. Similarly, traceroute. Traceroute is something, let's say I'm going from Tulichoki to Malakpet. So what are the stops will come to me? I will see Nanal Nagar, then I will see the Mehdipatnam, then Nampally, then Abid, then Koti, then Malakpet. So these are the stops I'm able to see. Similarly, the traceroute will tell you between you and the Google how many next hops are coming there, how many devices are coming to picture. So how many networks you are trying to coming on the way. So that is that information you will get from a traceroute command. Ping is used for the checking the connectivity. Traceroute is used to see how many hops are there. NS lookup is very important. Let's say the google.com is actually having an IP address. Okay, so the DNS, domain name services, they change IP to name to IP. So google.com, if you put NS lookup and some bb.co.uk, so you will see the IP address of that actual IP address of that server. Okay, you can do the NS lookup to the IP address. You will get an what is the DNS assigned to this. So this test you can try. You can try at your home. Ping, traceroute, and NS lookup. Go to the CMD in your laptop, in your machine, and try to do this reverse lookup. Try to identify the Google IP address. Okay, try to ping the google.com and also try to ping with the IP address. trace it with the DNS name. So these all things, these are the tools. Like this is our bits and this is our bread and butter. Ping, trace it, NS lookup. This all thing we need to take care. Okay. Last thing. Actually, I'm telling last, but I'm keep taking that. But I need to finish this fundamental because I'm very close to this one. See, networking world, guys. I need your attention. I'm on the very conclusion of this all stuff. In the networking world, there are many vendors who build switches, routers, firewalls. Okay, why? See, you can see the Cisco, Barracuda, Juniper, HP, Siemens. They all build switches. They all build a router. But why a Cisco you are learning? Why you are learning a Cisco? Why? Because Cisco has a highest market share. Like you will find 90% Cisco switches. You will find 90% Cisco router. That's why we are learning. We are not learning a Juniper. For example, do you see anyone? He just started learning a computer and he started learning the Linux. No, because Linux is not a user friendly. We will start learning with the Microsoft Windows. Similarly, if you learn, like let's say for example, you learn Avaya networking, Avaya switches and router. What will be the scope of job? Obviously, the Avaya is used, but hardly few companies can will use that Avaya switches router. If you become expert into that, what will be the job scope for you? That's why the Cisco is something 90% of the company use the Cisco. That's why if you learn the Cisco switches and router networking devices, you will get a more opportunities. That's why we are learning here. And Cisco has a certification track. Okay, so you can see certificate like learning track. Like let's say Cisco has a hardware. Okay, if they want to, the hardware will be very costly. It will be in the lakhs. Okay, so if someone want to if some organization they purchase that, to whom they will give this to handle it? Obviously, they are looking for some certified people who know that technology, who know how the switch work, who know how the router work. To whom only? That's why what Cisco did is we have associate level, we have specialist, we have professional, and we have expert. Okay, so you can begin with the CCNA. You can become associate. So they have different branches. So in the CCNA, you will find the switches, router. You will get to know the wireless. You'll get to know these are the branches and all. Okay, CCNA is the base. After that, they have various fields like service provider, ISP related information, data center, all the Nexus platform, enterprise, routing and switching, all the securities. Then here voice and wireless, all this video, this all thing will come into here. So a candidate, he can start from CCNA, he can become a specialist, he can become professional, he can become expert into that technology. So, and similarly, they have a parallel stuff. Like nowadays coding is everywhere. So DevNet, you can become a DevNet specialist professional and the DevNet expert as well. So where you will use a Python, you will use Ansible, you will use a code to build a network. So that is again another discussion, another stuff. So just for we are not looking into this. So let's look into this place. So the enterprise is nothing but the routing and switching. Okay, where you will learn switches, routers, stuff and all. Okay, so Alhamdulillah, I am certified a CCI service provider, data center, routing and switching. Okay, so I did all these certifications. I'm the certified with that. So what I'm saying, the world is not enough. The world is like the certifications, or there is no, I can say, there is no, you cannot stop the learning. Learning can be like, you can start with the CCNA, you can reach to the CCNP, you can go to the CCI level, you can become a service provider expert, you can become a security expert. So there are n number of branches are there. But as I told, as I shown you in the slide, the base is the CCNA. Okay, that's what this course is all about, that you will come to know all these bits and pieces about this. Okay, so with this I will stop here, and tomorrow I will see everyone tomorrow in inshallah at the PSF office, and we will learn the switching. We'll start the switching technology. Okay.
You have a question, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, how many classes will you be covering on CCNA? How many sessions will you be taking?
Sorry.
How many classes will you are you taking on CCNA? Like as we are covering this Windows Server.
Yeah. So we have as I told, like this course, we are it's a multiple things we need to learn. You need to learn the Microsoft server. You need to learn, because this is not only a CCNA class. Okay, this is a job-oriented course where you will learn all the bits and pieces, like 5-6 things you will learn here. So you will have a base, okay, base of the networking. So this is not like here you will learn a switching and a routing, all the basics of those stuff you will learn. How many classes? I think more than 10 to 15 classes. I will take that.
Okay, that's all right.
Any another question?
No questions. Okay.
ठीक है, कल कर लेंगे इंशाल्लाह। Sir, because we do not have a lot of time. Sir,
Okay.
Sir is already.
Okay, fine.
We can conclude
So
tomorrow.
yeah, so you can continue this session. Let the sir sit the same, like, and let him take the online, because online people also available there. So
I will take care of it. Inshallah, I will.
okay, okay, I think the question is from the IP address and all. So
Yeah.
tomorrow, yeah, because see what I told, this is a high level stuff. I have not, because for the IP address, there are books are written into the IP address. Okay, so tomorrow we'll try to understand what is the IP address. Okay, so hope to see you tomorrow, and hope you enjoy the class and you learn something from me, and I will describe from this session, and so you can continue with your communication class. Okay, thank you. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Shahid, you can stop the recording and upload to the YouTube. Okay.
Okay, sir.